Guys, Geo here, and welcome back to another video. So today, welcome back to r/EntitledParents. So I know what you're thinking. Why is my voice not the way it normally is? Well, it is 12:32 in the morning, and I don't want to wake up my family, so I'll be as quiet as possible. So, and my cousin is in the room next to me, sleeping. So I gotta keep as quiet as possible because he has work in like 4 hours. Anyway, the first story we have here is Karen demands her meal for free, but gets instant karma instead. This is gonna be a good one. This story is about my mother. Yes, she is a mega Karen, and unfortunately I've had to put up with her most of my life. This happened when I was a teenager, around 15. We went out for dinner at a small local restaurant We went out for dinner at a small local restaurant that did all-you-can-eat buffets. I should mention that my mother has long, thick, curly hair, and she never ties it up. Important for later. We got our dinner and sat down to eat. All was going well. I was surprised at how well my mom was doing. By this point, she should have found something to complain about by now. And then it happened. She looked down at her plate and said, "Oh my God, look at this. There's a flippin' hair in my food." Me, knowing exactly what she was doing, "Mom, that's your hair." No, that's not my hair." The way she was talking was obviously dramatized for effect, and she was beginning to get louder and drawing attention from the other diners. She continued to cause a scene and get more irritating, drawing more attention to herself and inadvertently me. I wanted to sink into my chair from embarrassment. Not long after, she started her fake tantrum. The waitress came over to see what the problem was. "How's it not going over here? What seems to be the problem?" "There's a hair in my food." Okay. My mom was getting furious at the lack of care from the waitress. "Well then, what are you gonna do about it? We deserve our meals for free. This is horrible customer service." The waitress has a smirk across her face. "I'm sorry you're not satisfied with our food. Would you like to speak to the chef?" My mom looking smug that she thought she won. "Yes, I would." I was confused at this point, not understanding why the waitress didn't seem to care, even though I knew my mom was lying. But it soon came clear why. A few minutes later, a man came out from the back of the store and walked right up to the table, and my mom's face went ghost white and her jaw dropped. The chef was bald, not balding, but so bald that you could see your reflection in his shiny scalp.
"Hi there. How are things this evening? What seems to be the problem?"
"Well, there's a hair in my food." The chef was smiling.
"I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. But unless I've miraculously grown a full head of hair on my walk over to your table, you can see I am very much bald. And I am the only chef working tonight, so that is clearly not my hair." My mom was speechless. "Is that all for now? I need to get back to work."
Without waiting for an answer, he turned and walked back to the kitchen, but not before I mouthed sorry to him as he left. I knew better than to say anything to my mom after this. Rubbing her failure in her face was a bad idea, but I had a smile on my face for the rest of the night. Whoo. That entitled mom is such... I'm lost for words, to be honest with you. You owe me $1,200. When I was 17, I had purchased 10 ounces of silver from my high school art teacher. I believe I paid her just under $20 for it. I had shown this to my mom when I came home from school. However, that night, my heavy-handed father once again got drunk and beat me up for the last time. He said that me being anti-war was un-American, and I needed a beating. I left home that night. I took my clothes, a few keepsakes, some books, and also the silver. I left quite a few belongings behind in a closet in my room, belongings that my parents refused to let me retrieve in the later years. I got most of it back when they died, but things like the first Barbie in its original box and a chatty Cathy doll were gone. But I digress. This was back in 1967. By 1980, I had been married for 5 years. My sister had to come by to visit, and she told me that she had just been to see our mom and dad. She also told me that they were frantically tearing through the closet in my old bedroom, and wouldn't tell her why. I just shrugged at this because our parents were odd to say the least. About 10 minutes later, she told me this my mom called me. What? I must have misread that. Okay. Mom didn't even say hi when I answered the phone. She just frantically asked me where I had put that silver I had purchased. It took me a while to remember just what silver she was talking about. When I finally remembered, I told her that I made all of that into jewelry over a decade before. This totally pissed her off. She screamed at me to stop lying. She said that they had been looking for that silver all day. I was still puzzled, so I asked her why. That is when she told me the silver price was nearly $50 an ounce at that moment, and she knew I had several ounces of it, and I needed to tell her where it was right now. I again told her that it was all gone. I had made rings and pendants with it, had given them away to my friends, and even sold some. And then she freaked out.
All 25 ounces of it?
It was 10 ounces, and that was 13 years ago, I said. She really came unglued. She said that her and my dad were counting on the $1,200 because my youngest brother needed it for his kids, and I was being selfish. Then she decided that I owed her $1,200 because I didn't leave the silver at her house as I should have done. I reminded her that it wasn't 25 ounces. It was only 10, and I had purchased it with my own money, so it had been my property, and I owed her and Dad and my excuse me for saying this, and my brat-ass youngest brother nothing at all. This angered her further. She told me that I will be hearing from her lawyer, and then she slammed the phone down. She would have hated cell phones because he can't slam them. Idiot. I never did hear from her lawyer, at least not that time. In fact, I never heard another word about that stupid silver. The price went back down just a day or so later. It had been a weird fluke that had made it soar in price like that anyway. I mean, you can't just go get instant market value for metals like that, can you? I wouldn't think a precious metals broker would want to risk their money on a fluke. I'm sure that her dread lawyer told them this as well, and was telling her she had no case if she even talked to him at all. I doubt she talked to that lawyer. Alright. I believe this is the last one. I'm not sure, but we'll see how this goes. Alright. Karen is upset that I won't show her son surgery pictures. Why? So, I want to become a stroke. So, I want to become a nurse, and because of that, I've been volunteering at the ER. But since the cough, they canceled the volunteer program for the summer. My grandfather is a recently retired gynecologist that still assists in surgery to help out the newer docs. And both of us didn't mind seeing blood. I am natural son of it, I guess. I don't mind seeing blood either, but it kind of makes me cringe a little bit. That's about it. To us, blood and surgery is nothing to cringe over. And he often tells me about the surgeries he's done because he knows I'm interested and it's a lot of fun. Okay, that's good. Anyway, my state is allowing restaurants to open at a shorter capacity. And after my grandfather and I dropped off my school books, school year ended, we decided to grab breakfast. We sat down and people have to sit a table apart because of the cough. We're at the booth against the wall, closest to the door. There's a mother and her, I'm guessing, 7-year-old son, 2 booths away, then an elderly couple at the farthest booth. We order and the topic soon turns to my grandfather's latest surgeries, where he was removing a uterus and had fibroids in it. I like to describe them as large warts. He takes pictures of them. They are allowed as long as the patient's identity is safe. And he does this because he gives lectures and presentations to other doctors and uses them. That's pretty cool, to be honest. I'm not into health stuff, but that's cool. He starts to show me pictures of the surgeries, phone face towards the wall so that we can only see. And we quietly discuss it and scroll through the photos. Our food arrives and we still do this. Hey, remember the 7-year-old I mentioned? Well, he starts wandering around the store with the mom, entitled mom, is just scrolling on her phone. Before I continue, I want to mention that the surgery my grandfather is showing me is pictures of is an open surgery. So there is a lot of blood and cut up bits, and there is no way to sugarcoat it. There's a lot of these photos. Oh God. Well, the kid wanders over to our table and asks us what we're looking at. I smile at him. I'm not wearing a mask since I'm eating. And tell him it's nothing he should worry about. He just steps closer and asks again. My grandfather said it's nothing he should be interested in. But this just annoys the kid even further. Since I'm holding the phone face towards the wall, he climbs the booth with me and tries grabbing the phone out of my hand. But I just pass it over to my grandfather. The kid gets off and now coming up to the seat with my grandfather. But he turns it off and puts it in his back pocket. This kid's face is red. But he just huffs and storms back to the entitled mom. Thinking this is the end of it, we get back to eating and the pictures. All of a sudden, the entitled mom is storming towards us and slams a hand on the table, startling us both. Why are you not allowing my son to see your phone? Ma'am, it's none of his business what's on it. And he probably doesn't want to see pictures. Well, if they're just pictures, he can see them. The one waiter is looking at her. No, they aren't suited for children. They're pictures from a surgery, and they can be pretty gross to some people, especially kids. They can't be that bad if you guys are eating. And besides, surgeries are done by robots. It can't be that bad. What a dumb... I'm getting triggered by this woman alone. Jesus. The waiter is asking if she can go back to her booth. She ignores him. At this point, her son climbs to the booth next to us and gets close to my face. I turn towards the kids and tell them to get away. She uses this to then grab the phone out of my hand, grab her son out of the booth, and then flips over my GF's phone. And then she goes white. I won't go into details in the picture, but it was quite bloody, and a lot of forbids were huge and showing. She drops the phone and yells, "What is wrong with you people?" Me, annoyed at this point, "You took my grandfather's phone after we told you. It was none of your fucking business." I had to add that. If you saw something you didn't like, then maybe you should have listened to the warning. The waiter walks over and sternly tells the EM and her son to go back to the table. And they finally do. The waiter apologizes and leaves a few minutes later. During that time, I could feel EM drilling holes in the back of my head. Too long didn't read. EM gets upset that I won't show her the pictures from the surgery, grabs the phone from me, and shows herself and her son, and instantly regrets it. I think we have time for one more story. See how long this one is. Okay, this is more. Okay. This shouldn't be that long. Give your phone to my son. I used to go to a math tutor in the group there. And in the group there were younger kids, too. Yeah, guys, I know I read like a 4-year-old, but shut up. Okay. When the teacher left the room, one kid starts looking at my phone. I thought he liked the case. It would change colors when you touched it. Want to try? Sure. I gave the phone to him, and he rubs the case and watches it change colors. Do you have any games on it? Only one. I will have more soon on my new phone and let you play with it if you want. Yes, I want to, says the next time. Meanwhile, the teacher comes back and the lesson goes on as usual. That day I got home, I threw my bag on the ground and sunk in the sofa getting ready to play that one game I have, PUBG. I got a text from the entitled mom. Hi, is this OP? Yes, who is this? I'm Susan. Let's call her that. My son came home very upset today, as you have bragged about your new phone, and now he wants a new one too. I'm not sure I bragged. I casually mentioned it, but sorry if he was upset. I apologized. I was thinking, since you casually mentioned it, made him want the new phone, you should give your current one to him. I can't really do that. I promised it to my mom because her phone is quite old and freezes all the time. I didn't ask who you promised it to. My son wants it. Don't be a selfish jerk. Just give your phone to him. It wouldn't really make him happy. And also drop it by our house with a charger, earphones, and all that chameleon case you have. I will give you time to think about it. Oh my gosh, why is this so hard to read? Literally 5 minutes later. So, have you come to your senses? What did you decide? Hello? Hello? Are you going to give your stupid phone to my son? OP, answers remained, no ma'am, sorry.
Frick you, you selfish jerk. He's going to cry when he finds out. Go to hell.
2 days after 2 days after that, me and the kid had a lesson at the same time, and his mom had brought him to the lessons and been waiting outside for me. I saw her far away and realized what was coming. I kind of knew what was coming. I thought about missing this lesson and going back home, but I had exams soon and I didn't want to fail. I'm about to pass by her and she sees me.
Excuse me. That's all.
That's all I could make out from her. After that, it was a wall screaming and swearing from her. While she screamed, teacher opened the door confused and astonished. I saw the entitled mom in the middle of the screaming OP. Shush! Are you done? Then I enter the house and close the door in her face. This was one of the encounters with many entitled parents. Hope it was very interesting. It was OP. It really was. Wow. Ooh. I want to read one more. This video is going to be long. Okay, this is the last one, you guys. I promise. Entitled aunt at a wedding. My family is full of complete entitlement. My mom is probably the only exception to this chain because my grandma didn't raise her and abandoned her at a young age. This happened when I was about 12. I'm 17 now. My mom was getting married to my stepdad and they had a huge wedding in Vegas. They got married surrounded by sea life and sharks and everything seemed to go smoothly. But no, that can't happen when our family is there. While getting ready for the reception, me and my mom's friend, we'll call her Red, along with my aunt, are waiting in a hotel room. My aunt started to talk about how much of a female dog my mom was in front of me, her 12-year-old daughter. And in generals, was just saying horrible things about my mom. I don't remember what she said, but this is what followed. You can't say that. Yes, I can. She is acting like this. She is acting like it's her day. It is her day. She's getting married. Well, why didn't my wedding look as good as hers? It's not fair. Maybe if you stopped sleeping with men, you wouldn't have.
Oh my god, you just roasted her.
Holy crap. Maybe if you stopped sleeping with men you haven't married and just hooked up with, you would have had gotten married pregnant and had to be a drug. I lost it at this point. I'm losing it now. It's almost 1 a.m. You little... She reaches over for a lap on the desk, and luckily my mom's friend in Red finally stepped in and kicked her out. I thought it was over until my family started to call me mean for making her cry. Hey. What an entitled idiot. Anyway, that is about it for this. I'm not Canadian. That is about it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, click or tap that like button and subscribe for more if you're brand new. And don't forget to turn on those post notifications as well. I'll make an announcement about my Return of the Roar project on the second channel tomorrow. So, yeah. That's about it for this video. Twitter and Instagram is in the description below. I love you all to death. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to stay positive till the Pride Lands end. Adios.